Okay, my sound went out on my computer. So now I'm wearing this thing that my daughter uses, and we're going to see if that works. Here is the second version of the book cover. So you can see on this one, I've got quite a few of the things already kind of established, quite a few of the levels. So what I'm going to do is go full screen. Let me get rid of that. And we'll go ahead and start that guy. Hopefully the sound works fine on the computer. We shall see. You can see, sorry about it jumping around a little bit, but I'm trying to get the details on the pencil. Turn that part down a little bit. Just thinking about like what's a pencil do at the tip and then deciding what that should look like. So you can see I've refined it there. I'm trying to get the edges on the pencil and then playing around with different tools to be able to do that. There's lots of little chunks of pieces that are like taking away from the sculpture. So that's what I'm kind of working on right now, is adding details and taking away anything that doesn't look like a pencil. Trying to think about like when it gets shaved off, what does that texture look like? And then here I'm working on edges, trying to make it kind of still be established and in there, but also have an edge. And then there, I'm just trying to get those little extra pieces of clay up out of there. And then here I'm trying to make it look like the paper is actually coming up off the page. And then I went back in and kind of smoothed that out on top so that it'll have an effect of like a rippled paper. And just looking at some of the characteristics of whatever you're creating and trying to recreate that. There, my pencil got too big or too small. So I went back in and thickened it up and then took away what doesn't look good. So you just keep on messing with it. And still, so I messed up when I did that. I messed up my edge that I had put on. So I had to go back in and refine it. And here I'm continuing to refine. So it really has to do, it's very similar to drawing, where like you just keep refining, finding edges and all of that kind of stuff as you work. Anything that doesn't work, you take it off. So here I'm trying to really make sure that that edge looks like a pencil that's sitting on top of the paper, not just like melting into the paper. So anything that's an edge, I'm trying to kind of recreate that. How can I use the tools to recreate it? So it's all about creativity and how you adjust it. So you can kind of see me trying to build the pencil. Now here I'm smoothing out. I want you guys to smooth out that surface, and that'll also compress the surface. So every once in a while I do that. And then I'm also getting off all those extra scrapings. And then flipped it back over. I'm refining again, kind of working the whole piece. I don't want those too deep. I want to be able to paint like a glaze on top and then wipe it back off. And then I don't know why, but it was really important to me that that pencil levitated and there was space underneath it. So that became very dangerous because I think here I lose the tip of it. And we just had to go back in and redo it. Oh, oops. So I just used this slip to go back in, made it rough enough to where I could add some clay to it. But I really, really, really wanted that pencil up off the paper. So it looked like it was going through the paper, through a hole in the paper. And there you can see I was able to do it. You just have to mess with it. And then I started thinking about, well, the desk needs a texture, and I forgot my texture plates at the school, so I had to kind of improvise. And I started thinking, okay, let's make it look wooden. And what does wood look like? And I had a wooden table that was near me, and I looked at it and started to recreate the textures that I saw. Kind of decided on like the symbol for wood, what's it going to look like? And it left a lot of these little pieces, these little chunks, left tons of those little chunks. It was driving me crazy. So then I went and got a paintbrush to see if I could get those chunks off. That pencil again, man. I really need that to be up. I don't know why. It was like a thing. And so then I went and got a paintbrush that was dried, and I thought maybe that'll make the texture be able to come off a lot easier. And again, I keep going back into it, really refining where that edge meets the other edge. It's kind of like that with same thing with drawing. Where the edge meets the other edge is important. And using my hands a lot to like smooth down the area after the brush goes back through. The areas I want smooth, I want to kind of burnish those. And here I want to make sure that pencil looks like it's sitting up. So I'm pressing back down into and kind of tucking it. It's like tucking somebody in a bed, like tucking it in so that it looks like it wraps right underneath there. Here I just keep refining. Now I'm getting ready to put the holes in. You don't want to go too, I'm going to pause it for a minute. You don't want to go too far across the side. So like if you go too much here, too far this way, this is going to crack, especially if it's starting to dry a little bit. So we're going to try to do like 3 holes. I don't know if that's going to work or not. We're going to try it. It worked last time I did it. So I'm just making sure I'm not putting my holes too close to the edge. And here the hole hit right where that pen, of course, right where the pencil is, but I still did it. I wanted it in alignment with those others. And then I'm using a tool to kind of twist so that that hole will be created, but it's not forced. If you twist it, it'll kind of peel it out. You have to just kind of keep doing it. And then I'm using my hand on the other side because if I flip it over and press it down onto the table, it's going to do one of two things. It's going to either damage the surface or it's going to crack the entire thing. So I'm using my hand as support, and I just keep flipping it back and forth. Got to be patient. It looks like I'm not being patient because it looks like I'm going fast, but I was being patient. And here I got a credit card and some tools to kind of buffer that edge. And then I'm angling that tool so that that edge is not like just like a right angle. It has a little bit of a beveled edge to it. And I'm still refining. I think I'm still refining, by the way. I'm still playing around with that because I want the paper to be a different texture. So here I decided on the inside cover of the book, I wanted to put like our class rule. We only have 2, and they pretty much cover everything. So, and the thing with letters is you have to keep kind of going back over. I think we had a few people doing letters before we left. And you have to keep kind of going back over them and pulling out all those crumbs. You just burnished it with a spoon, and then I'm back into the letter, keep going over top until I get it the way I want it. And so we get to that stage, and then we'll go to the next one next time.